somebody who can tell us now about what it's like to be in a World Heavyweight Championship fight, and indeed to be the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm delighted to say we're joined now by Frank Bruno. Hello, Frank.
Hello, Chief. How you doing?
Very, very good indeed. Great to talk to you again.
Well, it's nice to speak to you again. Hello, Colin. How you doing, boss?
I'm fine, Frank. Good to hear from you, pal.
All right?
Yeah? So?
Cindy and the kids okay?
Yeah, they're great, thanks.
And the grandchildren?
Yeah, they're all very good, all
Respect,
four of them.
Colin. Sorry,
Frank,
is it Danny?
Yeah, it is. How you doing, Frank?
Good, Danny.
Listen,
good.
Frank, we had just heard from Amir Khan there. He is as excited as I am about this boxing match. I presume you're also, these days, a fan and looking forward to it as we are.
Very, very much so, you know. I mean, when two big men go in there and they're genuine, two of them have got belts, and both of them have been talking a good fight, I can't wait for it to happen, you know. You can't get no bigger than a heavyweight title fight.
And which one? I mean, let me ask you a difficult question. Of the two of them, they're very different styles. Which one do you think, if we were making a film, which one would you be?
If he was making a film?
Are you more like Klitschko or more like David Haye in your fighting style?
I'm not too sure. I've got my own style. I don't, you know what I mean? Klitschko's got his style. He's a big, tall, stand-up, sort of like very flexible sort of heavyweight. David Haye moved up from cruiserweight. He's turned into heavyweight, but he's got a lot of fire. He's got a lot of charisma about him, and he helps puts bums on seats no matter what he says, whether it's good or bad. So I'd like to stick to be Frank Bruno and let David Haye be David Haye and Klitschko be Klitschko. I just hope they can put the chemistry together tomorrow and give an excitement fight more than the Harrison fight was last time against David Haye, which I think he knows he wants to, and he's hungry to go into the man's backyard and, you know what I mean, challenge him.
Frank, yeah, one of the big questions is, who can take whose punch the best?
A good big one, Cole and Danny, would always be a good little one. Klitschko's a natural heavyweight. They're big guys. They've been groomed well and looked after, and they've been around for a long, long time. They ain't the heavyweights they were in my day, like Bo, Lewis, Tyson, Holyfield, rah, but they're today's crop of heavyweight, and they're good. And Klitschko's a natural big lump, you know what I mean? He's not no Teletubby. He's in good shape, you know what I mean? David Haye moves up from cruiserweight, and he looks pumped up and whatever. But only time will tell, Colin, tomorrow. But David has got the fire, the hunger, and the ability to get in there quick and do whether the Klitschko can take, you know what I mean, Haye's punch, but, you know what I mean, when Klitschko can punch himself, so Haye has got to be very, very careful and box very clever, you know?
Yeah, do you think that tactically that Haye has got to try and knock him out quickly?
Colin, I think so, because Klitschko make it horrible for him. Klitschko's not going to go into, if David Haye wants to war, Klitschko back off, hold him, grab him, jab him, keep him long distance, and probably frustrate him. So Haye has got to go in there, throw some bombs over the top, down below, you know, in the belly, soften him up a little bit, and really shock him, because Klitschko can make it into a boring fight, Colin and Danny. They're clever enough and flexible enough to come off the ropes and keep it long and make it look not boring, but boxing's like a chess game, you know what I mean? You're waiting to get in there for the moves, and David Haye's got to go in there, and he's been talking to Klitschko, saying, Klitschko, come and fight me. I want you to come and fight me, because when he come and fight me, it'll be open. But I think Klitschko will be boxing clever, with long jab and keeping it at a distance, you know what I mean? But only time will tell.
I agree with you. I think Klitschko's too shrewd to get involved in what Haye would want him to do.
Yeah, but the funny thing about it, David Haye saying, yeah, I don't want you to keep it long, I want you to come and fight, but, you know, he should have kept that quiet and done it, you know what I mean, let his gloves do the talking and go in there and make him want to, you know what I mean, make some mistakes. But it's a very, 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 very hot, very, very nice and very bubbly sort of fight. The funny thing about it, I haven't got Sky at home at the moment. I'm decorating and Sky's gone down, so I might have to go around someone's house and watch it, you know what I mean? But I'm looking quite forward to it. It's excitement.
Frank, I mean, because you're a big man yourself, you probably didn't have the problem of someone being so much bigger than you, but tell us about the problem of when somebody is extremely strong, like we know that Klitschko is going to be, and when they wrestle you, and Klitschko, I see, pushes people down every chance he gets. How difficult and frustrating is that?
It will be very, very, very frustrating for David Haye, because he's had, I don't know how many fights he's had since he's come back from cruiserweight, but a natural heavyweight like the Klitschko, know all the tricks, hold him and, you know what I mean, jab him and combinations and run and just keep it smart, you know. He's not a heavyweight but don't know what he's doing. He knows what he's calculated is. Then if the guy wants a war, he'll box. If the guy wants a box, he'll war. You know what I mean? He'll make it at his own pace, and he's a natural heavyweight. That's what I hope David Haye gets him early and hurts him and knocks him out early, because the more later the fight goes, the more natural heavyweight he is. He'll lean on him, wear him down, tire him, frustrate him, and later on he may come into some trouble, which I hope he doesn't, David Haye. I hope he goes in there, does a number, and it's good for British boxing. It gives a lot of the youngsters inspirational, but this is a little tight one, you know, little one that sometimes you've got to sit on the fence, you know what I mean?
Frank, the training for a big title fight goes on for months. The publicity goes on for months. And to me, it suddenly all comes to a point of light about, 2 or 3 minutes when you're getting through the ropes and before when the announcer's done his thing and when the referee pulls them together. How important are those last few minutes before the fight starts, but in order to get yourself into the right place in your mind?
You've got to think of all the hard training you've been, the sacrificing, the sprinting that you've done, the sit-ups and whatever, and just, if you're fit and focused, you're just really hungry to get in there and get the job done, which David Haye seems like he's doing. And Klitschko's been in the training camp. Emmanuel Stewart's in Klitschko's corner. Emmanuel Stewart is no mug as a trainer. He ain't going to go into something that he's going to mug himself off, so he'll be getting him into the best shape he can do. And David Haye's in the best shape, but talking's cheap, you know. When ding-ding, round one, both corners go to the centre of the ring and the referee says, listen to my words at all times, if there's a knockdown, do this and do that. That's when Judgment Day comes, and tomorrow is Judgment Day for both fighters, you know, and it's just an intriguing fight that a lot of people's asking me, who do you think is going to win? But I can't say who's going to win. Yeah. It's even way, it can go either way, but I just hope David Haye wins.
Aren't you glad, though, Frank, that you haven't got to go through all that anymore?
Colin, man, you know what I mean? When I look at it, you know what I mean? It's a high-pressure sport, boxing. It's the most well-paid sport out there, but it's two lions going into the ring, and it's a pressure. And I'm glad, you know, I've done my bit, Cole. And,
exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm just putting my foot up like an old man and chilling out, you know what I mean? And
you deserve
waiting for the grandchildren to come.
I was laughing earlier on with Colin, Frank. They were talking about the pressure at Wimbledon for Andy Murray. And they're saying, oh, it's like two gladiators going at it. Except they're 20, 30 yards apart and there's a net between them.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I can't make the comparison with boxing at all, because as you quite rightly said, the amazing thing is that when all of this, including myself and Colin Hart, banging on about it for the next hour till 10 o'clock here on Talksport, when that's all over, it's just two people and that ring, and there's nothing else like it in sport.
That's what makes boxing the most interesting sport out of a lot of them. It's not football, it's not rugby, although football's a tricky sport. Rugby's a very, very tough sport, but boxing is the ultimate. Some may say barbaric, some may say this, but as a sportsman going into the ring, getting super fit, 1-to-1, woo! Can't get nothing better than that, baby. But each people, you know what I mean, cut it to the cloth. Some don't like boxing, some do like boxing, but a lot of it's got the country talking, you know what I mean?
I saw Lennox Lewis was at the weigh-in, Frank, and I know, of course, he's actually got an interesting place in all this. He's been talking to David Haye, and he knows Emmanuel Stewart very well. He was his trainer for years and years and years. Well, let's say that I could put you into a room with David Haye tomorrow for a minute. What would you say to David Haye if you could get hold of him right now?
Just, you know what I mean, all the talking's done, the hard work is here. This is your opportunity to go forward and make history and just get, you know what I mean, when you go into the ring, you've got to put yourself in a vicious, animal, controlled, you know what I mean, like it's me or him, you know what I mean? He's got kids, he's got a wife, he's got a house, he's got mortgage, he's got bills to pay, you know what I mean? And if he wants to go further and to back up what he's been talking about, you just got to you know what I mean, go and fight fire with fire, you know what I mean? Cut out all the looking and whatever, go in there and just do some damage to him. Not that anything bad happened to him, but just beat him and just get the belt and, you know what I mean, just channel vision.
Listen, Frank, it's always a pleasure and very enlightening to talk to you as well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on TalkSport. And listen, obviously, if you can't find any of your neighbours with a Sky Dish, you'll have to come round here and watch it with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to walk round one of the neighbours' house and knock on the door and, excuse me, can I have a cup of tea, please?
You'll have
I need to watch the fight tonight, but no, I've got somewhere where I'm going to go.
Yeah. And
I'll probably watch our Champions, you know?
If they're watching X Factor, tell them that ain't going to happen. Frank Bruno's in the house.
Colin, say hello to the kids for me and
I will,
Cindy,
Frank. And your family good too, I hope.
Yeah, very, very good, Colin. I went down to see Lewis yesterday and Craig. Remember you phoned and...
Oh, yeah. Oh,
they were
I know
very
you
happy
did.
in Nottingham, so thanks to you, you made someone happy, or I made them happy.
You made him happy as well. We made him happy between us anyway.
Definitely, Cole. Cole, look after yourself, yeah?
Thank you, Frank.
Danny, respect Ross and all the listeners. Have a good evening.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank you very much indeed.
Bye.
There's Frank Bruno. Always actually delights my heart to hear him in such great health.
Can I just tell you what he was talking about? Because the listeners say, what's all that about?
Go on.
He didn't want any publicity about it, but somebody phoned me at the paper and said his son was very, very ill. Great boxing fan. Could he have a signed picture of Frank? I rang Frank and said, have you got a signed picture we can send to this kid? He said, where is he? I said, in Nottingham. He said, tell me where he is and I'll go and visit him. But don't want it in any publicity.
Well, I think it's right that you should say something. Thank you.
The night before last, he was there and spent 2 hours with the kid. How about that?
Yeah, and I say, particularly knowing that what Frank's been through himself, I love to hear him in such great form these days and back in full health and vigour. We're going to have a quick